You got everyone sitting in the back over there. That's a good cluster. I like it. Welcome. This is our open poetry and fiction reading here on the Lowell campus. My name is Tom Laughlin, I'm coordinator of the creative writing program. Welcome. I'm excited to have some poetry and fiction today from a mix of students and faculty and friends and community members. I want to note that this event is co-sponsored by the Creative Writing Program and the Office of Student Engagement. Want to thank a few people who help out with that. Maria McDuffie Clark in the Office of Student Engagement for all their help and support. Dean of Liberal Arts Matt Hurwitz and English Department Chair Jill Keller, who helped support this. Jeff Kaplan, Christina Rivera, and our team of communications people who are here helping to record some things for us too. And Beth Noel and her Office of Communications and Creative Services helping get word out on different things. So I'm excited to hear people's work. And this is an open reading, and we're here to listen and celebrate the wonderful voices here at Middlesex, and want to encourage that supportive environment. And if you like what you hear, give some support and help people out with your responses. But I will, without further ado, I think I'll dive in, and we'll start with some poetry. And our first reader is, let's hear it for Faith Kiuna. Faith. Woo! Kick us off. Yep.
If you want to be recorded, let me know. Take a video. It's too late.
I can yell right now. This poem doesn't have a title, but okay. I'm tired, but I can't sleep, because those who mean us harm will not rest, so how can we? As I stand here, live and breathe, there are about 50 other mothers saying goodbye to their only sons. Their tears being the only thing keeping the grass green upon their sons' graves, because no one else will. I am tired because countless times a day I scroll upon my social media and see kids that look like me and talk like me slaughtered by the same people that swore to protect them. You polish your badge more than your knowledge of the law, and it's ironic, because then you get lawyers that help put my people away, help protect you. I am tired because 30 years from now, I will have to sit down with my son and tell him 4 basic rules plenty of y'all have heard before. 1, when you're walking the streets at night, you best make damn sure your hands are out of your pockets and your hood is off. 2, when speaking to authority, it better be yes sir, no ma'am. 3, present yourself correct in public spaces. Don't do too much or they might call the police, but most importantly, 4, no sudden movements. Stay still and do what they tell you. Don't give them any reason, and I'm sorry son, but they're gonna try to find one. These are 4 basic rules that if you follow, maybe, just maybe, you might live to see tomorrow. And if you do, who knows? You might only have to tell your son 3. Thank you.
Thanks, Faith, for starting us off with a poem. And our next reader is Bllu Catalano. Blue.
Oh, do I have to talk into this?
If it's close enough, we'll tell you if it's
Hello. Sleep is a quilt that I sew each night. I wake each hour or 2 hour, go to the laundry room, walk the field outside the bathroom. Who is there? Sometimes I hear the owls. The coyotes howl to each other. I sip water. I put clothes in the laundry, put clothes in the dryer. I turn on the nightlight. Battery birch log for my daughter. I sweep the den rug. I sweep the kitchen. I sweep. Let me float there. I wash my face, I brush my teeth. Sometimes I know that sleep is far from reach and pick up my book and reading lamp. Burrowing blanket, hope I don't see light out the window. I watch the field outside. Who is there? 3 to 4 a.m., animals death dance, eat, get eaten. That's the sliver of day I heard that horrible death cry, wishing I could help, wishing existence wasn't so brutal. My gut is something cares. We quilt makers. There's something different about us who know the dark hours. Buddhism taught me that I'll never understand. I can let needing to know go. Let it go. I say let it go, it's okay. Let me float here. No, the world is not okay. Yes, the world is okay. Write the line that comes to me. Remember the name I forgot yesterday. I breathe in the night air. I keep the windows open, connection to outside. Buying this house saved us, the land we breathe into. For the love of Mike, don't worry about sleep. Tell yourself that rest is enough. Closed eyes, all good. Most of the time, sleep slants into me, slow. So slow, grains filling my glass. We quilt makers who know the dark hours. I sew, put downs, lulling, settling, energy ebbing, then awake to the next sound, the next jab to tender and slight non-awareness. Any door, owls whoos, once in a while mice grabbing a crumb our dog left from dinner, snores, blanket rustlings. Up and down, up and down. The thread is made of not minding. I sew this hour to that hour. I look outside, wash my face, take the rings off that I forgot earlier. I throw in a few more bottles to the recycling. Walk room to room. There are many things that I won't do during deep night. Anything electric, anything rigorous. It's not neuroscience, just keep even keeled. A few stretches, release tension, then fold back down. Sit, stretch the feet, pull up the blanket. Sketch that scene that came earlier. Take off socks, pull on socks. Put hair up into a bun, take hair out of bun. Just relay me along the river, get me away from the gurgles to sweep, calm shallows. Let me float here. No need to kick, just breathe, breathe. You have the next square in your hand. You take up the needle and mark the line along each side. Pull together the last piece and place them neatly over one another. Lick the thread, find the first spot. The quilt grows. If I let myself, I sew hours of hushed, no one's around episodes. Watch, I listen. I admire my loved ones. Watch my husband sleep in deep sealed slumber. Woven into me of my days and nights, the line between us rubbed away. Sort socks, fold the bags away. Watch the field outside the bathroom. Who is there? Once a week, my body adds up the unslept hours so they finally tally enough. Knock me out. I wake irrepressibly refreshed. If I let the gift of it soak in, move through me, piece by piece I get there so that to that lit sky, wondering what the fresh day will bring. Lying down, rest spreads, expands, increases. Logs, wheels, geese, stars, artwork of moments. I glance at the clock as it moves each time I stand. Each time through the rooms. Moon lifting, disk and side smile through the trees. Glow across the clouds. Moving, moon, the hands move. Shadows move, coyotes move. Prowl and howl, my blood moves slow, slower, clock tick. So this hour square, next hour square, and I move with it. Let me float with it.
Thank you, Blue. Our next reader is Willow Kelley. Willow.
"22 Twist Street. I watched my mother tear our home apart in January, ripping the front door we never used off its hinges and dusting the shelves we hadn't touched in decades. I watched my bedroom change from mint green to sea blue to lavender to eggshell as my home became more palatable for a general audience of homebuyers. I watched the cracks in the walls fit back together, aging backwards from the day we started. The rooms I grew up in began to come together, or fall apart depending on how I felt about it that day. But I never really got to mourn the loss of the home I grew up in. At first, only because I was in denial, I never believed a word my mom had said up until that point. But a worldwide pandemic will motivate you more than you think. I was almost completely out by late March 5 years ago when the world decided to implode. I hadn't gone home in 5 months since then for more than a quick visit to my mom on the construction site, or burial site, depending how you look at it. It was too hard to watch her paint my bedroom blank slate white, fill each pushpin hole with plaster. It was no longer my home, but the gutted carcass of it, black and blue and bleeding out on the dead-end street where I learned how to ride my bike. I remember walking through the halls before it was finished, into what once was my bedroom without the holes in the walls, no cat hair in the corner, no acrylic paint on the floor. The weed smell was gone, and I was sure that would have been my only permanent mark on the place. I remember the craters punched in the walls of my parents' room, of the hallway, the bathroom, the kitchen. Even if these walls could talk, they wouldn't. They'd be too terrified of caving in. When I learned that the house was almost sold to a young family moving from an apartment downtown, I let myself remember when I was their daughter's age, riding my bike down the hills of my elementary school, or walking home with my neighbor who I was smitten for, or running around the temple parking lot in the pouring rain with my best friend. I let myself remember being older, in high school, smoking a bowl with my friends on a Saturday night, or in my bed kissing my not yet girlfriend for the first time. And I let myself remember the really bad. The time my parents would let me referee their screaming matches in the living room, and when I'd participate in my own feuds with my sister, or the ones I especially frequented in, with myself. I promised that I would come back one day, long after I've moved states away and started my own life, far away from the dead-end street in the suburbs of Lowell. I will hope to find this place abandoned, caution taped and boarded shut. I will let myself in somehow and give myself the grand tour of the place I grew up. I will finally say a proper goodbye to the walls that held on to the first 2 decades of my life. I will say farewell to all the hurt parts of me and promise to take care of the pieces that are left.
Thank you, Willow. Our next reader is Henry Prestidge. Henry.
This is based on a prompt from Writing Fiction by Jeanette Burroway for Professor Nardoni's class. Banks always have a distinctive smell to them. Paper, ink, coffee perhaps. The insides of them always feeling liminal, as if they're trying to imitate something homely. Curtis pushed open the heavy metal doors situated between 2 obnoxiously large pillars and stepped into the sterile room. A long blue-gray rug extended from the threshold to the teller. A dark-skinned woman who was seated but stood up as Curtis approached. "How may I help you?" the woman asked before he reached the small window that separated them. She wore a white blouse with no visible wrinkles. Her long manicured nails tapped softly on the marble countertop. She looked over her glasses as the younger man carrying a jam-packed manila folder approached her. She inhaled sharply upon noticing the dirt from his well-traveled boots had fallen onto the carpet. "I'm applying for a loan," Curtis said. He could immediately tell she was going to try and get him out of here. He cracked the knuckles of his free hand, preparing himself. The teller, Liz, felt her mouth shift into a tight smile. "What kind of loan, sir?" She shifted her weight to her other foot. She would have preferred to remain seated, but the countertop was too tall. Her heels stung as the rear of her shoes dug into them. "Auto loan, please," Curtis said flatly, as he was hoping to deal with this quickly. "Of course," Liz said, her voice clipped like a paper cutter. She turned swiftly and grabbed a clipboard, gripping it with more force than necessary. "Please fill this out. You'll need to provide an ID and proof of income." Curtis nodded stiffly. He struggled to keep some of the papers within the manila folder before dropping on the counter with a light thud. The scent of gasoline and cigarette smoke clung to the folder, combining intimately with the smell of cleaning chemicals that hung in the bank's stagnant air. The ceiling fan spun lazily high above them, doing nothing to stir the atmosphere of the large lobby. Liz's nose crinkled slightly. "Sorry," Curtis mumbled, not sounding sorry. "I work out of my truck." Liz smiled, though it was only a small tug at the corner of her mouth. "I figured," she said dryly before nodding in the direction of a chair by the side of the counter of her window. "Have a seat and we can input your information." Curtis took a seat, saying nothing but pulling the chair out slowly, scraping the legs across the floor loudly. Liz exhaled deeply, trying to conceal her annoyance. She turned to her computer and began typing, surgically moving her fingers across the keys. The clacking of the keyboard was the only sound in the lobby. "Occupation?" Liz asked without looking up. "Mechanic." Her pause was noticeable. "All right," she murmured. Curtis leaned forward in his chair. "Got a problem with that?" "Of course not," Liz said too quickly. Her smile put carefully back into place as she looked at him. "We have applicants of all kinds." Curtis smiled, but his eyes were a grim antithesis. "Yeah, I'm sure." Liz tapped her pen against the counter, though it wasn't absent-minded. It was controlled, rhythmic. She cleared her throat. "And how long have you been employed?" Curtis rubbed the back of his neck, looking anywhere but at her. "Close to 10 years now. I run a shop off Route 6. Not that it matters. Most of your system's going to make this more difficult, right?" Liz hesitated. The glow of her computer screen made her look ghostly. "Our system weighs multiple factors. If your credit score is high enough and your income..." "I know how banks work." Curtis's tone was sharp now, but low. Not enough to be overheard. "I've been told no before." There was a silence between them that hung in the air like the dust his boots had shaken loose. Liz didn't move for a moment. "Well," she said carefully, "maybe today will be different." That made him pause. Her fingers slowed over the keyboard. Her posture softened just slightly. The lavender smell lingered, but something more human came through. A trace of tiredness, of hours spent fielding requests from people she'd been trained to sort like paperwork. Curtis's gaze softened, if only by degrees. "I'll get this processed," she said, quieter now. "Might take a few minutes." "I can wait," he said. Their eyes met again, less guarded this time. Not friends, not even allies, but two people who had, for a moment, understood that the system didn't care for either of them. It just operated, a machine that sucked the life from all of those who were a part of it. Curtis leaned back in his chair. Liz resumed typing. The air between them remained cool, a bank's air, but less sterile than before.
Thank you, Henry. Our next reader is Esmé Mandile. Esmé.
See how quickly I can get this up done. Ooh, that's a good microphone. Okay, that is not loading. Okay, while that works, props to tech. Woo! Yeah, crew! There we go. Now it's loading. Woo, tech! Love you guys! Yeah! And there we go, got it up. Cool. Okay, so I'm actually going to be doing two of them, but they're both short poems. The first one doesn't have a name, but this one is inspired by a bird that one of my friends kept seeing on his car window. Birds have alter egos. They shine in many ways. Some have love for others, and they always let it shine. But not this one named Narcy. He takes up his own time. He spends it all with mirrors, singing to himself, not knowing that the truth is it shatters glasses on the shelf. He's a pretty little bird, I'm not gonna lie, but he's pretty narcissistic, and it's quite obvious why. He has a heavy voice, but his brain is kinda light. He believes he's the best choice, but he'll keep you up at night. I love to write about his songs, but I don't know him well, so I would just keep righting wrongs, and that's a secret I wished I never told. And I do have the second one. This one is titled Feeding Frenzy. Big twist with this one. I dig my nails into your flesh. I tear my teeth into your skin. My fingers rip apart what's left. I smile at the state man. My hands dig in beneath your rind. They rip and pull and pluck inside. I lick my fingers of what's left behind. As around your innards, my hands pride. I tear you in half and dig right in. I hand some to my friend. Your violent hue runs down my chin as we each devour a dripping end. My maw stained red from our feast. I still return with need for more. As we both take our roles as beast, we leave your carnage on the floor. We wipe our mouths of your stain. We go off to cleanse our palate, with no concern that you are in pain, because you're just a pomegranate.
Thank you, Esmé. Our next reader is Willy Ramirez. Lily.
I come blown by a hurricane. Open all windows and doors. Clear every hallway. I have come so that we might walk together. In my own way, hand in hand, procrastinating in the company of love, I then attend to everything else that may be indispensable for the material survival of the body. Raphael, she said, and the sky fell. Another planet full of moons emerged. 1, 3, 5, too many moons. Thank you. Let me begin my reading now.
What?
Thank you for being here. Thank you to my class. I am impressed and happy so far with what I have heard. So thank you. I am going to read maybe 2 poems if I have time.
Sure.
Yeah. This comes out of political observations that I make recently, within the last year. So it comes out of that. Election day. I went to play ball on election day. As I walk down the street, I ignore the talks and rambling of so many empty space, all lost. I kept myself undistracted despite the broken pedals of my bike, of the turbulence of my nave de sueños and ideals. I have carried for many centuries, many dreams. I built and nourished them with care in a hidden garden. Now, blank space creep in from everywhere. I don't know where line empty come from. I went to play ball on election day, a garden full of dead leaves and a soil in high fever. Millions and millions of empty space creeping in and out. They came with their mouth full, eyes closed, naked, and they fed them more cake, and still they ate, and they ate cake, and they ate cake. And this next one comes out of more societal observation, but more coming from the mass shootings of schools. School day, dropped off the main door at school. The girl steps out of the car, no smiles, walks to the door. The driver burns the silence of the birds, makes a U-turn, Mellon Street, heading south. The girl arrives at the door late. The door is locked. The girl rings the bell. The girl rings the bell again. And the girl rings the bell again. And no one comes.
Willie. Our next reader is Sofia Fariole. Sophia.
Let me begin with a very familiar excerpt. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. 7-4. If a man is lost in a land of luxury and lavish, who is he to say eat the rich? If a homeless man bears a rusted tin can and dirt-covered hands, who is he to criticize the ghetto? If a wife and mother sleeps with another, who is she to undermine cheating? If a fatherless son becomes a man with a gun, coming alive and coming undone, who is he to criticize his innocence? We live in a world where condescension is worth more than compassion, sarcasm more than sincerity, annoyance more than acceptance, brutality over benevolence, homicide over harmony, matter over mind. So where the hell do I even begin? We're at war with our sins, but we'll never really win. And like a teen in the mirror, our patience grows thinner, the picture drawn clearer. We pick out our flaws and every imperfection. Our reflection is a projection of our need for affection. So where do we stand on 7-4? When we look in the mirror and start to shiver while we consider the bitter reality and utter tragedy that a societal mentality makes us feel worthless. 7-4, just another day, but my thoughts slave away reciting words no politician would ever say as they downplay the decay of our country on its birthday. Make way for the screenplays of shooters on school days, drunk drivers on highways, harassment in your workplace, scammers circling cyberspace, men who force their way to third base. We don't falter, we stand, hand in hand. Is this what the founding fathers wanted for this conquered land? But most of them were slave owners. Some had affairs and political inconsistencies. All of them committed wrongdoings of their own. Our hope lies in liars. So how do we measure above the sins tethered to this country from day one? I guess the best way to predict the future is to look at past behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Our next reader is Kimora Lin. Kimora?
Tempered glass. Am I tired or feeling blue? An early dawn scroll with the skylight. I'm feeling everything I've been through. Scratches on my palms and knees, mom's missed calls, my only notifications. My dark eye bags mask my eyeliner. Couldn't sleep last night, engines revving at 2 a.m. I'm feeling everything that's ever existed. Cold breeze goes down my back, inhaling cigarette smoke, trying to get that secondhand high. Models walk past me, never mirrors. How would you be my sister? I'm feeling everything that was said to me. Trash blows past my face. Now I'm feeling the drizzle of rain. I was just thinking about you and you appeared. Early morning is when the devil talks to me. When I'm the only one awake, I'm feeling everything dark.
Thank you, Kimora. Before I pitch in a couple, any last interest in anyone else here who wants to pitch in their creative voice?
My friend, she won a poetry contest last year in Korean. She doesn't want to read it because she can't translate, but she said
You can read it in
the language is
Korean?
so beautiful.
Yes.
I would
We'd love to hear it.
in Korean. Could we hear it
Could
in
you?
Korean?
That'd be great.
Oh.
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh. I never expected to do that. I need to find
I'd love to have it.
I need to find
And what is
this.
your name?
My name is Young Park.
Young Park.
Yeah, it's a
Welcome.
very short one, but the
Sure, please.
yeah.
Let's hear it from Young Park.
Need to search the news. First of all, you know, the Korean language is really, we have a lot of expression. So,
I'm just going to move this a little bit.
oh,
so
yeah,
it might
yeah,
move that
sorry.
way.
So Koreans are, you know, Korean, the language is very beautiful. So there are many famous, you know, poet and poem, but it's very difficult to translate to English and another language. But I won the, you know, contest, Korean poem contest last year. So I was talking to her and I was checking, but she said share it. It's a very short one. It's about Korea is divided by two, north and south. So this is, although you don't understand, I want to explain about that because one old man who came from North Korea during the war, and then he just said, "See you, mommy." And she said when he left his home from North Korea, he came down to the South Korea, and then he was thinking that he's gonna meet his mom soon, but it's over 75 years, so he's about to die now. So he just, I was thinking about a man who I don't know, but I was thinking that maybe he's missing his mom, and then it's time to, you know, say really goodbye. Yeah. 자색빛 치마 저고리에 곱디 고운 얼굴로 유유히 걸으시던 우리 오마니 평생토록 아들 올 날만 기다리시다 꼬부랑 할망되어 갔네. 화로불 옆 오마니 무릎 빼고 듣던 옛날 얘기 생각에 번개처럼 지나간 70년 se월에도 영락없는 아이 되어 합죽 웃음 짓는다오. This is it. So I'll translate a little bit. I remember my mom who was walking slowly, approaching to me in beautiful purple Korean traditional clothes. I remember her face. I think she was waiting for me. She was waiting for me and died. I remember 75 years ago, I was listening to her story. And then when I remember that, I became a baby, I became a child, and then laughing with no teeth now. Yeah.
Thanks for pushing the blue. That's great. We love the voices. Lots of wonderful voices. Actually, before I pitch in a couple, just let's hear it for all the wonderful voices. Fiction writers. I want to begin in February. We lost a powerful voice in the poetry community. Poet, translator, scholar, teacher, poet laureate of Boston, Danielle Legro George. And I'd like to begin with a read. She was a dear friend and was a visiting writer here at Middlesex, and students also last spring read her work in the reading, writing, poetry class. I'd like to begin with a poem of hers. This was originally written in response to a 2013 ruling by the Dominican Republic Constitutional Court that stripped citizenship of any Dominican-born people who did not have parents or grandparents that were Dominican citizens going back to 1929. And the majority of people affected were Dominicans of Haitian descent. I think this poem speaks, though, to now and all that we're dealing with in this country. It's called A Stateless Poem. If you are born and you are stateless, if you are born and you are homeless, if your state and home are not yours and yet everything you know, what are you? Who are you? And who am I without the dark fields I walk upon, the streets I know, the blue corners I call mine, the ones you call yours? Who am I to call myself citizen and human and free? And who are you to call yourself landed and grounded and free? And who is judge enough? Who native? Who other? And who are we who move so freely without accents of identification, without skin of identification, with all manner of identification, with gold seals of approval, with stamps of good fortune, with the accident of blameless birth? Who are we to be so lucky? I'll read a couple short poems of mine. This is called Guadalupe Mornings for D. Passion fruit juice begins each day breakfasting with you beside beach, palms, and pelicans twisting to dive for their morning catch. Bougainvillea, espresso, and honeydew mingle while sleepy cats and a hen with 3 chicks wander between tables to find your face lit up like this Caribbean sun. And This next poem I want to read is an ekphrastic poem. It was just accepted in a literary magazine on Monday, and so I thought I would read it. It's going to be in a journal called Amethyst Review. And ekphrastic poem, piece of work, is in response to art of some kind. And my friend Matt Carano is a Somerville painter, and over the last couple of years I've been writing poems in response to his paintings, and he's actually been painting in response to my poems, which has been very cool. But this was accepted earlier this week, so I thought I'd celebrate it. And this is the painting it's in response to. So in response to Matt Carano's painting, his painting is called Late Daylight. My poem is called Wakening, in response to Matt Carano's painting. Behind today's explosion of buds, their shells tossed, leaves unrolling outward, hungry for snatches of sun between rain-smudged clouds. The wintered spring decay is dark with knowing. Deep blue shadows beneath shadows feed from forest floors, from vernal pools, from shallow ponds' primordial love, birthing yellows, blues, sharpened petals, slicing streaks of rust. Hidden nests blossom within canopies of green, twigs and vines clasping, clinging to branches, their discarded scraps swallowed into burgeoning burrows, crawling, snaking, feathering to life. Well, again, want to thank everyone who showed, all our readers. Let's hear it one more time. Give it up. Lots of great voices there. Keep it coming. And I want to just announce a couple upcoming events, and also mention we have one of our club members here. But coming up on the 19th, on the Bedford campus, Frederick Reichen is a novelist. Multiple books, his 3 novels, bestsellers, translated into multiple languages. He teaches at Emerson College in Boston, and he'll be reading on the 19th at 12:30 in Boston, in Bedford and Cafe East. So hope you will come to that. If you're interested also in Craft Talk, if you're not in Professor Ramirez's class and interested in sitting in on that, let me know. We can pull you into that. And that night, we have a big day and night on the 19th, is the MCC night at the Untitled Open Mic at Dragonfly Cafe. There's an open mic in Lowell here at Dragonfly Cafe. There was one, there's one tonight, a slam tonight, and every first and third Wednesday of the month. But this is a special night, and we're hoping that we can pull as many Middlesex people out as possible. Also, alums come to read during the open mic. And there's always a featured reader and then an open mic period. And the featured reader this year is Professor Joe Nardoni. So he's going to be the featured reader that night. Come and support him and read your work and support and you know, give some noise to other readers who read during the open mic. So I hope you'll do that. Also, and by the way, as you leave, there's QR codes on the wall for the Middlesex, Creative Writing at Middlesex website with all this information. Wanted to mention, if you're not aware, that we have a Creative Writing Club, the Writers Wonderland Creative Writing Club here at Middlesex. It meets on Tuesdays at 2:30 on the Bedford campus, and you can talk to Blue. She's one of the officers. If you're interested, but come and share your work, and venue for talking about the work, sharing, getting feedback from others, like-minded souls. This is our Creative Writing at Middlesex website, has links to the events, as well as information on the concentration and the club. There's also, I just want to mention, there's an archive of past readings, open readings and Visiting Writer Series readings and Lawawa reading events, so you can view recordings of past events. Dead River Review is the college's literary magazine, online literary magazine, and actually Blue was one of the editors of the last issue in the spring. It's released every spring, and hope that all the readers today will think about submitting their work for the next issue, always looking for work, and want you to explore. There's a link, again, off the website, but also a QR code on the wall as you leave to pull that up. It's deadriverreview.com. And there are poetry, fiction, artwork, music, essays, all different wonderful creative work from people, students and faculty and staff and others in the Middlesex community and alums, all available. That's some artwork by one of our faculty. So do consider submitting, and there's information there. Again, you could go to deadriverreview.com. Again, want to thank you for being here today, and please stick around, talk with the writers, have a snack and a drink. And again, thank you all for being here. One more big round of applause for everybody. Thank you.